Hello there, welcome back once again. It is time for the Golden Age of DC Comics, 365 days, where I take this well-loved hardcover coffee table book given to me by one of my best friends about 2 decades ago. It's been surfing my coffee tables ever since, and it's a great excuse to have the comic book shop style conversations that we used to have back in the comic book shops, and I'm recreating that here now with you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is a 2004 Abrhams publication. It has been written and curated by Les Daniels, Chip Kidd, and Geoff Spear. There is a link in the description to the Amazon page where you can pick up your own copy, and it will look great on your coffee table, and it makes a great gift. I know. The Golden Age of DC Comics runs between 1938 and 1955. The Silver Age, 1956 to 1970. The Bronze Age, I'm a Bronze Age baby, 1970 to 1985. And the Copper Age begins in 1985. And then we can begin a conversation anew about the current age of comic books. I love talking about comic books. I really do. And we're going to be talking about comic books every day for the rest of the year. Seriously. And this is the part of the conversation where I like to call the escapism caveat. Activism is very important in the world. The world needs help. But activists really act like bullies sometimes in our current age. Sorry. Just this is my opinion. Okay? It's an opinion. They have their own space, they have their own place, but does activism need to be in everything? Especially in our comic books, in our sports, in our art, in our cinema? I mean, the whole point of escapism is to leave the world's problems behind, to spirit us away to a fictional world where we can be someone else, where we can have superpowers, that we can fight space aliens and evil empires, where we can be a pirate on the high seas, where we can be a superhero and save the day, to have fantastic adventures, to have romance. You know, escapism is very needed, but with activism encroaching upon all of our spaces, and then insisting that if we don't accept it, that we're some kind of bigot, or we're some kind of ist or phobe. I mean, all this lecturing, all this screeching and preaching has given me compassion fatigue. I would rather ignore an activist now and concentrate on the past than buy new stuff, which is just, it's not good quality. It's full of lecturing. I mean, who wants to be lectured on their time off? That's nagging. And so don't agree to have an activist bully you out of your fictions and out of your fandoms. Seriously, that's an agreement that you make. Stand tall, stand strong, and say no. Stay in your lane, stay in your space and place. There's nothing wrong with that. And stick to your guns, or stick to your imaginary guns, like these guns, like Superman would. But let's open up. We're going to use this book for its intended purpose. We're going to crack the page open to today's date. We're going to look at some comic book art. We're going to read the blurb, and then we're going to talk about comic books. Today is July the 4th. It's American Independence Day. Ha-ha! Fireworks, barbecues, a paid day off for some of us. Yes, so let us crack the book open. Oh, it's one of my all-time favorite kid sidekicks. It's Captain Marvel Jr. And this is also, that's called The Spirit of 76. That's a famous piece of art. We're going to get to this. Let's talk about this and read the blurb. It's a short one today. It's art by Mac Rayboy from the cover of Captain Marvel Jr. number 9. July of 1943. So we're smack dab in the American involvement in the middle of World War II at the time of this publication. Let's read the blurb. Independence Day. Captain Marvel Jr. strikes a pose beside patriotic figures inspired by the famous painting, The Spirit of 76. Everyone recognizes this little fife and drum corps from the American Revolution, but few know that they were originally painted by Archibald M. Willard for the nation's centennial in 1876. Let's enjoy this art again. I love the design of Captain Marvel Jr., Freddy Freeman. Let's talk about Captain Marvel just for a second. He was Fawcett Comics' successful kid sidekick. It's a great vehicle for a kid to be part of the story. To have not just Billy Batson, a kid, say a magic word and transform into a Earth's mightiest mortal, but to have kid sidekicks, his friends and his sister, his foster brother, Freddy Freeman, and not to be confused with the current baseball player, huh? But let's read his bio from the wiki. Captain Marvel Jr., Freddy Freeman, is a fictional superhero. Aren't all superheroes fictional? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, who would win in a fight? Superman or Mighty Mouse? Superman. He's a real person. That's from Stand By Me, the movie, if you know that one. But Freddy Freeman is a superhero originally published by Fawcett Comics and currently published by DC Comics, a member of the Marvel Shazam family team of superheroes. And his first appearance was in Whiz Comics number 25 in December of 1941. In the original Fawcett and DC continuity, Captain Marvel Jr.'s alter ego was Freddy Freeman, a disabled newsboy saved by Captain Marvel from the villainous Captain Nazi. To save the dying boy's life, Captain Marvel shares his power with Freddy by saying the name Captain Marvel. Freddy is transformed into Captain Marvel Jr., a blue costume version of himself, possessing powers of superhero strength, speed, wisdom, and more. And he's also been in the early 2000s. He was Shazam for a while Billy was comic book dead, and he's currently still part of the modern DC post-Flashpoint, post-Rebirth, Shazam family. And this is, the Spirit of 76. And let's read just a little bit. We're reading from the wiki in my best Rich Evans voice. The Spirit of 76 is a well-known painting by the Ohio artist and Union Civil War veteran Archibald Willard. The painting was originally titled Yankee Doodle and was created in 1875 for the Centennial Exposition. The piece acquired the name Spirit of 76 while it was on tour in my hometown of Boston. The painting was initially commissioned to be semi-humorous, but the death of Willard's father, the model for one of the painting's figures, changed the direction of its tone. It's funny how we can interpret tone, even humor, in a panel of art. It depicts the three soldiers of the American Revolutionary War, and they're all of different ages, too. Though one of them is wounded, the soldiers march on with the spirit and determination. This painting is currently on display at Abbott Hall in Marblehead, Massachusetts, which is at the North Shore, north of Boston. It's a seashore town, and it's very popular. It's a great getaway places full of beaches and restaurants, and it's beautiful. Marblehead is gobsmacking beautiful. But I have my own Spirit of 76. I was 3 years old, and for July 4th, 1976. I remember this day, and let me wet my whistle. And happy 4th of July. And what goes better with a coffee table book and some coffee table talk than a great cup of coffee? This is great. Celebrating our independence. In 1976, I was 3 years old, and it was it was the bicentennial, America's 200th birthday. I remember it. I remember being a kid I remember my parents were still together, and I remember being down at the Esplanade, which is on the banks of the River Charles. And down there we have something called the Hat Shell, which is an amphitheater. And the Boston Pops, which are a splinter of the orchestra, were playing with the famous conductor Arthur Fiedler. And I remember being down there with my parents. I remember this vividly. It was like I took a nap under a tree, and some kids were climbing in the tree, and on this branch, it was directly above me, and the branch snapped and fell right on me. And I guess this kid was all tangled up in the branches and things, but my father came over and picked up the branch with the kid still in it and threw it because I was trapped underneath it. And I remember my mom telling me this part of the story, that they were saying, "Hey, don't move, don't touch the kid. I mean, he's trapped in the branches." But they didn't know that I was underneath this. I wasn't harmed. I wasn't hurt, thank goodness. But I remember this vividly. I remember seeing Storrow Drive and which is the major street next to the Esplanade, and the Esplanade over my dad's shoulder. I remember this, like if I was being held like this, and I remember it being, and walking like this. So I remember the world going up and down, up and down. I was crying my eyes out. I was so scared, maybe a little hurt and in pain. I had no injuries, but I was definitely hurt, scared, confused, and narrowly avoided some kind of major accident. But I remember that very vividly. I remember all the advertisements for the Spirit of 76, Boston being one of the birthplaces of the American Revolution. We had a huge, huge bicentennial celebration here. And happy 4th of July. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're, if you're not in America, well, hey, how you doing? But we're having our birthday today. So we're celebrating with fireworks and barbecues, and hopefully you're together with good friends and family and having a great day and enjoying our American independence. And never forget that. Don't let anyone take your independence away. I mean, that's what our nation was built on. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to be talking about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. We'll find out who we're talking about when we turn the page tomorrow. Like and subscribe. I would love to earn your subscription. We make daily content here. I talk about cooking. I'm a professional chef. I have a playlist that's called What's Cooking. Apparently my soups are very popular. So much so, I am now the Sultan of Soup. I'm proud of that. I am also an ordained minister, an amateur theologian, a spiritual guy. We make spiritual content here. Talk about spirituality and gratitude. Hashtag Lighten Up. It's about enlightenment and how a little spirituality can improve your daily existence. We also take fun nature videos first thing in the morning of bunnies grazing on the lawn, having their breakfast. I love these little nature moments, and I hope you love them too. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you tomorrow once again in the Funny Pages. Cheers. Thanks. Bye-bye.